Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we're chatting about the indespicable behaviour of the cowardly masked incels, thugs, and misfits throwing smoke bombs, throwing glitter, sexually attacking women, and screaming and shouting at women in Leeds and Brighton at the weekend. Surely this should now concern even more women. Surely this should pique women. Surely more women become very, very concerned about what's happening. I'm concerned for these women as completely. But surely there are loads of women out there now that are concerned about what is happening. Women are not allowed to speak now without being attacked by masked incels, thugs, and misfits. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's crazy what's happening. So, yeah. And if you haven't heard the news yet, although this was announced yesterday, Alison Bailey is appealing the decision of the Employment Tribunal, dismissing her claim against Stonewall for causing a basic contravention of the Equality Act 2010. This is absolutely fantastic news. Lots of people have taken to Twitter to celebrate this, to celebrate and commend Alison Bailey for such bravery and courageousness. Fantastic. What a great woman who is, really trying to expose Stonewall for really what they are. So congratulations to Alison Bailey. Now, Alison Bailey is a barrister, if you don't know who she is, who sued her chambers for discrimination and won. Gordon Court Chambers was ordered to pay 22k, that's 22,000 discrimination damages to the barrister. If you're not a lawyer and you don't understand law, you may see people on social media trying to tell you that she lost a claim. I mean, really, but they are doing it. So let me explain that Alison Bailey won the substantive aspect of her case. She didn't succeed on a minor point, which of course was the Stonewall in question. But now Alison Bailey is rightfully appealing this minor point. And the case against Stonewall is back on, which is fantastic news. As Alison Bailey puts it, Stonewall's not off the hook, far from it, of course. And I really do commend Alison Bailey. Alison Bailey's been through so much. Somebody who was, literally, well, I won't say too much while there's a case going on, but I really stand by Alison Bailey. I'm really glad that Alison Bailey has, appealed on this minor point, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. I do hope she wins, and this time I think if she wins, it will actually change the law, which is what Alison Bailey is looking for, and what everybody else wants, because we really do want this situation sorted out with Stonewall, who claims to represent lesbians, gays, and bisexuals, and then, tries to get one sacked, as I understand it. Right. So, yeah. I will read the tweets of what Alison Bailey put out later, in case anyone hasn't seen them. But this is really good news. It's something to celebrate about, because this is another this is another rightful attack on Stonewall, really, because that organization is an utter disgrace. It's not the Stonewall that it used to be. It's now turned into an utter disgrace, and something needs to be done about this controversial organization. Yeah, so that's Stonewall and Alison Bailey back in court. I also, would like to condemn the cowardly attack on Fred Sargent. Fred, who is 74, was an early advocate for the gay rights movement in the US. Fred participated in the 1969 Stonewall riots, and that's by his own claim. And Fred Sargent, who attended the Sunday's parade in Burlington, said that these awful trans activists grabbed his signs, shoved him they shoved at him, they poured coffee over the head, they smacked him, they knocked him to the ground, and they stole property which, and all he was doing is holding pamphlets, really, which was rightful, critical of the trans movement, because as we all know, this trans movement is no longer in the interests of lesbian and gay and bisexual people. But I mean, this is a gay man at a gay pride, or at a pride event. You know, this is what we fought for. And again, another gay man has been attacked at Pride and ousted from their own Pride movement. I mean, this is absolutely disgraceful. It's not really acceptable at all. And it's very, very worrying what's happening. It's actually a disgrace, what's happened to Fred. And Vermont Pride parade organizers should, they should condemn what's happened to this, poor guy. As I say, attending his own pride movement. I mean, this is absolutely disgraceful. It's about time that Vermont Pride Parade grew a backbone and apologise, because a gay man has been attacked and a gay man has been ousted from that pride movement. And the people there who've done this, disgraceful creatures, and I really hope that you're brought to justice. It really is disgraceful when gay people are attending their own pride movement and then we've got them evicted out their own pride. So my congratulations to Fred Sargent. Really, he's a hero, and something that all gay people should be proud of. It's absolutely disgusting, and gay people should be condemning what's happened to Fred, because he's a great person, and I cannot believe that Fred is being treated in this way. Hello, Amy. How are you? Yep, I've got everything sorted. I've got the mic plugged in this time. Okay, hopefully the lighting's all right. I've got armed with my usual. I don't know what this is actually today. It's a little bit of an energy drink that I've mixed together and put it in my shaker. Wow. Did you manage to attend any of the events? We had the Leeds, or the one in Brighton, the one where people were screamed at and shouted at. Did you manage to get out to any of those events? I wish I could have been at the Brighton event, really, and I would have even gone to the Leeds event. I think that should be open to guys, to support, lesbian strengths, really. But I would have liked to have gone to Brighton. I'm really angry I didn't go, really, but I couldn't. I was too busy. But yeah, it's a great. It's great. Very, very big turnout in Brighton, I understand, which is brilliant. Yeah. So yeah, Fred Sargent. I mean, this is disgraceful what's happened to Fred. Really. I mean, being attacked in this way, it's just disgusting, and it really shows that lesbians and gays are really being pushed out of the pride movement, and their own pride movement. They're not welcome there anymore, and this is very, very clear of what's happening. Gay people need to stand up, and then they need to sort this. They need to sort this issue out. Do you know what I mean? Because this is only going to get worse, and it will get worse, because trans activists are determined that they're going to take over everything, and they do appear to have taken over women's sports, even though women are fighting back. Child safeguarding is a serious concern. I mean, we've got the teacher with the large pathetic, I was going to say, but it's prosthetic breasts that are teaching, are going to school and acting out their fantasy in front of a class of children. I mean, this is sick, and this is still hitting social media, across social media, in condemnation. And I can't believe that the school have actually turned around and justified a teacher doing this, and supported this teacher for wearing a pair of sex shop prosthetic breasts in front of children, and they don't seem to have any respect for children. I have seen on social media that it's been claimed that some of these or a lot of these kids now are not actually attending that class, and the parents are complaining about it. Well, yeah, I mean, I can fully understand why. I mean, it's really disgusting. I cannot believe that the trans lobby have stooped to not condemning a pervert teaching children, and that's what this person is. They're just a pervert. I cannot see how this is perverated what they're doing, and I'm absolutely utterly against it. I really am. Yeah, so okay, well, thanks for everybody joining the stream anyway. If you're on there, thanks for joining the stream, and thanks for everybody who you know, comes on later, watches it later, or watches it on other video sites across the internet. These are cross posted now, so that these videos can be seen all over, and I'm getting a few comments here and a few comments there and quite a lot of likes here, and so I really do appreciate that. So please, you know, if you're listening to this video, please do like it, be appreciative, and then it will go up in the rankings, then other people can see what actually is going on in the world of gender ideology, which is very worrying. You know, it's yeah, but I cannot believe the behavior of these angry men and their appalling behavior towards women, you know, in Leeds and Brighton. I mean, the United Kingdom and the world really, hopefully, have woken up, but then they need to wake up, and they need to really see. I mean, look at what's happening, and see that these, you know, these incels, you know, misfits and thugs are destroying your rights. They're destroying women's rights. They're destroying child safeguarding. They're pushing lesbians and gays out of pride movements. This is what this horrible movement's doing. And a lot of these people are straight. You know what I mean? I would imagine a lot of those people out there would have been straight. You know, they're not all gay. There's very few, you know, if there are any gay people out there supporting this vile thing, what's happening to women, these people ought to be ashamed of themselves, really. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand. I really don't understand why gay people are standing by and watching these women being abused, you know, by having firebombs thrown at them, having, you know, glitter thrown at them, having abuse, sexually assaulting women, and all the rest of it. So Amy says that a friend, the friend that you mentioned the other day attended both Leeds and Brighton. That's really good. I mean, to be quite honest, from what I hear, Brighton was really well attended by women and their allies. There were some men that attended as well. It was quite a well attended event, so that's really good. I think I'm going to have to try and get out there and do some events myself. I just can't sit, you know, by and let this horrible movement abuse women and ruin child safeguarding and kick, you know, lesbians and gays out of pride, their pride movement anymore. So I need to get out there as well. But yeah, I mean, it's good that your friend attended both, and you know, congratulations to your friend, you know, for supporting the Leeds and Brighton event in the way they did. It's every person matters that goes there, and yeah, but yeah, I'm pleased it was a well attended event anyway. So yeah, okay, so the great. Yeah, so I'll just read this. So another friend of mine attended Brighton. She's not LB, but attended to support. Yeah, I mean, I think Brighton. Do you mean Leeds? Because I think Brighton is the women's event. I mean, the Leeds one is the lesbian strength, and yeah, I think the lesbian strength. You know, we should all go and support lesbians. But yeah, in Brighton, it's good. It doesn't matter what anybody is now. I mean, it's the fact of the matter is, I think we're all fighting against this gender lobby. I mean, no matter whether you're a straight man, I mean, it's affecting straight men, it's affecting straight women, it's affecting lesbians, bisexuals, gay men, you know, it's affecting kids. I mean, it's affecting all of us. And I think that people are starting to see that it's, you know, this gender movement has become dangerous, and so yeah, I mean, I think we should all support these great movements. Yeah, so that's brilliant. But yeah, so I will say that the great J.K. Rowling was one of the first people to condemn all the actions. She tweeted out many tweets. I saw quite a lot of tweets I actually like from of J.K. Rowling's as well, including this one, which has gone viral. I think quite a lot of her tweets went viral actually, but this particular one, she said. This actually hit the newspapers as well. I saw this one in a couple of newspapers. It said, "I see the Be Kind Brigade are once more hiding behind their black masks throwing smoke bombs, screaming scum at women speaking up for their sex-based rights, and howling abuse at lesbians for not doing dick. Let women speak, lesbian strength 2022. Yeah, I mean, thank you, J.K. Rowling. I really do appreciate that woman, because she really is a big figure out there, and she really is speaking up for women's rights and lesbians' rights, gay men's rights. Great woman. What a great woman J.K. Rowling is. J.K. Rowling is somebody that the United Kingdom should be proud of. She's the gem of the United Kingdom. A brilliant woman, fantastic woman that is speaking up. And she's speaking up for women who should be speaking up. There's a lot of women out there that are staying silent. There's a lot of gay men out there that are staying silent. A lot of the gay community are staying silent. She's really speaking up for these people. She's speaking up for the people that, can't speak up. A lot of these people cannot speak up. A lot of these people are too frightened to lose their jobs. They're too frightened to be harassed. This great woman is speaking up for our rights. It should go down in history as a great woman, especially now we've got the Tavistock of horrors come out that has exposed everything that's happened to children in the Tavistock. This is now closed down because it's unfit for children. It's not safe for children, as what the CAS report stated. What a great woman J.K. Rowling is. But these people, these masked invaders, if you like, these are disgusting people who actually who claim to dare to claim to support trans rights. Most are not trans. Most likely don't support anything to do with trans, and are really out for the trouble. They're out from other groups with the sole aim of disrupting women's rights and women's events. I don't believe that these people are sat here that are trying to push this transgender rubbish rights. Do you know what I mean? This transgender theory rights. I don't believe that I think that these are just criminals. A lot of these people are criminals, yobs, idiots. Incels. And misfits. That's what these people are. These people are not in the interests of lesbians, gays, and bisexuals. They're not helping trans people by throwing smoke bombs at people. They're idiots. Do you know what I mean? And we need to fight against these people. These people need to be stopped. And I'm so glad in Brighton particularly, but even in Leeds, but Brighton particularly, that the police did stand up and they did protect the women there. Which is the first time I've actually seen a police force that have really protected women. I mean, I think in Manchester, I don't think we saw too much of it, and we didn't see that much of it. I mean, in Leeds, they had to cancel the damn, march. The Lesbian Strength March was cancelled because the police wouldn't protect. But yeah, I'm really, really proud of J.K. Rowling for saying, for being there for everybody, and condemn these horrible people that dare to speak up for trans rights. They're at, pushing a gender theory, which is what they're doing. They don't give a toss about trans rights. They just want to push a gender theory because they know how harmful it is. That's the problem. And from what I saw coming from the news, the social media feeds, the messages and newspapers, it's quite likely that these yobs are simply incels, criminals, and thugs that are not interested in trans rights. I know that's what it is. These are not nice people. And do biologically born males who take hormones have plastic surgery? So do people who take the hormones, they have the plastic surgery, do they really support, do transsexuals really support these mass jobs that are simply incels, criminals, and thugs? And do they really support these jobs? Because if you do, let me know why, because they're not doing anything for you, but they're certainly not doing anything for lesbian and gay people. They're not doing anything for the LGBT movement. Are they really doing anything for the trans movement by doing it? Of course not. No, these people are trouble. So let me start with the Let Women Speak rally, which took place in Victoria Gardens on Sunday afternoon, the 18th of September 22. And I understand it was part of the Great Posy Parker's Speakers Corner tour across the country. I think she's visiting more places as far as I know, so I might try and get myself on at least one of them. It's unfortunate, but lots of police had to be present because, as we know, anyone organising anything to do with women's rights, child safeguarding, and even lesbian and gay rights in the United Kingdom. And they don't follow the narrative of the ridiculous trans rights lobby and their theory, their gender theory. They are at risk. You know, if you're not, if you don't believe in gender theory, you're at risk. You know, so that's the fact, really. Terrible, really. It is the way it is in the United Kingdom. It's the way it is in the Western world. You know what I mean? So it's really not. You know, they've got to have police now, and that's it. And plus, I think the police got word that some people were carrying knives. I think which apparently turned out to be true. But I don't think they knew that people were going to be throwing smoke bombs and glittering, you know, at people. But yeah, there we go. I mean, you know, these so women and their allies, they gathered in Victoria Gardens in Brighton for a peaceful rally to discuss women's rights, to discuss sex-based rights, because as we all know, you know, that's how it is. You know, it's not you know, that's it. They were discussing the rights. That's what they, you know, peaceful rally. Do you know what I mean? And that's it. You know. So the event went on in Brighton, but masked immature cowards with many incels, misfits and yobs and likely criminals. And I'm pretty sure there might have been paedophiles amongst them, because as we all know, evidence points to the fact that paedophiles have infiltrated the trans lobby movement, and we are seeing evidence of that merging. So these vile masked these creatures, okay, these vile masked creatures, threw smoke bombs at peaceful women. I mean, what a terrible thing to do. You know, we've got guys who are throwing a smoke bomb at peaceful women. I mean, thank goodness the person was arrested. And that is progress. That's the first time I've ever seen that at these women's events, that are fighting, you know, and speaking about their own rights. That's the first time I've ever seen somebody. I don't think anyone got arrested in Manchester. I'm not sure about Leeds, but I think in all the time, I don't think anyone's been arrested for anything. But anyway, this person was arrested. Somebody hurled glitter into people for no reason. You know, no reason at all, just hurling glitter. You know, I've seen that they've made things up on and tried to justify their actions on Twitter, but you know, there's no reason really to be doing that. That may actually be another arrest that may be happening in the future, because I understand that complaints have gone in about this person, okay, who's hurled this glitter at people. They were screaming scum at women simply for speaking up for their sex-based rights, and you know, it's really appalling. I mean, it was horrible what's happened. I mean, you know, what manners? No manners at all. You know, these people are horrible. You know, these people need stopping, and these people need fighting against. And that's what I wanted to say. If there's any women out there that are in any mind or doubtful or whatever about these people, just look at them. You know, do you really support these people? No. You know, in mass cowardly masks, you know, hiding their identity, because of course they've got something to hide, because they're in the wrong. That's as simple as that. So we've got we've got people, you know, they were literally, these horrible people were trying to drown out this event with screaming and the usual trans women are women chants, intent on shutting down a peaceful women's event for women. You know, it's they hurled insults and misogyny at women. I mean, it's crazy. These people are absolutely disgraceful. They really are disgraceful. And the militant group claiming to support trans people called Reclaim Pride Brighton, they attended in there. Some was in cowardly mass with their identity covered, and they interrupted the heroic and courageous women, the brave women from the Let Women Speak event. Yep. You know, just because they did. And Reclaim Pride Brighton posted an image on Twitter calling for trans activists to well, I'll read that tweet out in a minute, but this is one of the reasons why the police started getting involved in the first place, because they were concerned about this this sort of you know, militant group. They were very, very concerned about them. They actually tweeted out that it is our duty to fight fascism when it attempts to enter our communities. fight Posey Parker by any means you see fit, which is what they said, and then love, rage, and solidarity. I think this caused a lot of concern because, you know, when they say fight Posey Parker by any means you see fit is not really, it's, that doesn't sound, you know, very particularly good. It's you know, it's got a lot of meanings there, and I think this is like I say, this is what caused a lot of the concern with the police, and that's why they came down. I mean, they put up a little photo underneath that tweet which says "Call out to resist TERFs in Brighton." Well, Posey Park is bringing a transphobic hate tour to Brighton. I mean, what a stupid thing to say. She's actually bringing women who are fighting for their rights, because people like these are trying to destroy women's rights. And it says that she's not welcome here. Well, unfortunately, Posey Parker is welcome in Brighton, and Posey Parker's going to win, and so are the women, because I think, you know, after that event, you've really shown yourself up to be the scum you really are. It says she teams up with violent eliminationists and fascists. Well, that's debatable. Well, it's not debatable. She doesn't, and that's it. What you know, absolutely rubbish. In an attempt to rile up hatred for trans people and divide our community. The community is already divided, and the hatred for trans people is solely through people like you pushing gender theory. That's it. Anyway, I'm not going to read the rest of it because it's a load of rubbish, but that's what they called out for on that. And of course, the rush of complaints to Brighton Police, I think, is it Brighton Police, is it East Sussex Police, asking them to investigate, reclaim Brighton Pride. Of course, Twitter never took that down. They never took it down. They didn't see that it violated their terms, so it didn't get taken down. But you know what my question is as well is, why haven't Brighton Pride condemned this? You know, do they support this? Do they support what this militant group is doing? And if so, you know, history's not going to be too kind on Brighton Pride. You know, it's just. I think Brighton Pride need to condemn this, and Brighton Pride really need to get into reality of what's happening, because, you know, lesbians and gays are claiming, well, they're not claiming, they are saying rightfully that they're being kicked out of Pride. And you know, if you let militant groups like this into Pride, and this is how Pride is, well, it's not going to go down well in history for Brighton Pride, but it also means that gay and bisexuals and lesbians are just going to walk away from that pride, and they'll make their own pride, which is what's happening now. Lesbians, gays, and bisexuals are looking to make their own pride movement because they're not welcome in their own movement, which is pretty disgusting. You know, so do Brighton Pride support these masked raiders attacking women like this? And if you don't, you know, you need to speak out, because what Brighton Pride need to realise is that it will come back to haunt them in the future. The tide is turning, and Posey Parker's event was bigger than it's ever been. I understand it's a big turnout, you know, so the tide's turning, you know, and there were gay people there, there were lesbians there, there were women there were men there, you know what I mean? The tide is turning. So if Brighton Pride are just going to support militant groups like this and militant people like this and masked raiders who think it's all right to throw smoke bombs, well, you know, Brighton Pride might find that more and more people are going to walk away, because this is not really acceptable. Well, the brilliant Let Women Speak organizer Posey Parker was, you know, there, you know what I mean? But she was interrupted with threats, screaming and chants during her great speech. Luckily, she did continue. She did ignore these people. A smoke bomb was thrown in the direction of another great icon, another great UK icon, Maya Forstater, which missed. I actually did see that. I saw the clip of that, and the great women, you know, this great woman, should I say, continued with a speech. These are proofs that the attacks from these Black Panthers, as they've been nicknamed, or idiots, you know, but the proof has been posted all over social media of these masked Black Panthers, as they've been nicknamed. Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely appalling what's happening, and I do hope that, again, it's peaking people in Leeds, it's peaking people in Brighton. I do hope that women are waking up to what is happening to your rights. I do hope women are waking up to what's happening with this gender theory that's been pushed in our NHS, taking away your rights, taking away your language. It's been pushed in our schools, indoctrinating our children with a gender theory. And I actually was discussing this on Twitter earlier, and somebody said, that one of the reasons, I mean, we've got a massive upturn in people who are identifying or are confused about their gender. Well, it is gender confusion, and the reason is because this crap is being pushed into our schools. Gender theories in schools, and we need to take it out. We need to take this silly gender theory out of schools, and we need to monitor what's happening with the adults that are actually grooming our children online with a gender theory. That's the only reason why this is exploding. Of course, we're not really having the medical profession complaining too much, because they're actually making a lot of money out of this, particularly in places like America. It's a multi-billion-pound industry to cut children up, to cut young adults up, to make them think they can change their sex, because nobody can change sex. And when you say you change gender, well, do you really need, to have loads of plastic surgery to make you somebody that you can't actually be? It doesn't make any sense. And this is coming with a lot of complications, because obviously the children and the young adults are starting to realize, well, hang on a minute, I've made a mistake. This shouldn't have happened. Why have adults been allowed to do this to me? We've got a lot of detransitioners. And for the people who are transitioning, are realizing that things are not working, when they've had all the plastic surgery, that it's not actually working properly, and they've got to have bags, they've got to have this, they've got to have that. Because, of course, you're trying to change a man into a woman, for example, and it just can't be done. But the medical profession won't tell you that. And then, of course, we've got the drug companies. The drug companies are making so much money out of this. Do you know what I mean? With puberty blockers, with cross-sex hormones. And, of course, that's leading up to the medical profession. So it's a complete multi-billion-pound industry. So they're not going to condemn it. But I do hope that women can wake up to see what's happening to your children. And I do hope women can wake up to see what's happening to your rights across the board. I mean, it's everywhere that what's happening. So please, women, do, if you're on the fence, or if you're, don't know which side to take, look at what's happening. The evidence is there. But thankfully, I'm seeing so many people now that are realizing what's happening with these gender lobbyists, and they're realizing for the first, they're realizing in droves now what's happening, and the movement is changing, the tide's turning, and there's so many people speaking out now, which is really good. But we do need more. We've not got enough. We've got a lot of people speaking out across Twitter, Facebook, a lot of sites, a lot of social media sites that we are allowed to speak about, because obviously some sites we're not allowed to condemn what this gender lobby are doing, but we are managing to do that on quite a lot of sites. So please do, if you're a woman out there, you know what I mean, please do speak out, or at least complain to your MP. Let your voice be heard, because things do need to change. Yeah. So moving on, okay, to the next thing, because quite a lot has happened at that event in Brighton. A Labour Party member called Carly May Kavanagh, who is policy advisor to Lloyd Russell Moyle MP in Brighton, was the woman that screamed and shouted into a vulnerable baby. I mean, she actually screamed, she actually screamed to the father, "Oh, you're raising a little fascist." And she was screaming. I mean, I could see the clip. She was screaming at this dad holding his baby, right at the baby. I mean, this girl is just not nice. I think it's a new low for the trans lobby. Don't you think, out there? I mean, it's absolutely appalling. I've since made a complaint, and I'd advise you guys out there to do that as well. I've since made a complaint to the Labour Party about Carly May Kavanagh's appalling behaviour. What a vile woman! You know, what a disgraceful woman! What a nasty person to do that to a baby. And I think we've got tweets out there that are saying, well, he shouldn't have brought the baby, you know, to a peaceful woman's event. Well, I think no. I mean, you know, you shouldn't have vile people like Carly May Kavanagh screaming at a baby for no reason. You know, it's unacceptable. So my question is, Lloyd, you know, Mr. Lloyd Russell Moyle, MP of Brighton, what are you going to do about this pathetic woman? Because many people like me want to know. Or is this where obviously it's a new Labour, where Labour Party members and workers scream into babies' faces and, you know, unchallenged. I do notice that she's apologised, but it's quite a disgrace. It's not an apology. She's actually apologised to biologically born males who identify as women. She's apologized to those people. She hasn't apologized to the guy that she screamed in his face. Okay, she's not apologized to the dad holding the baby. Okay, she's apologized to men who are biologically born males who now identify as women. That's all she's apologized to, because she's worried that it's upset their movement. Well, it has upset their movement because you've made a big ass of yourself, Carly. But well, you know, if that's all we can have, if that's the sort of pathetic apology that you're going to give, it's not really acceptable, and we don't accept it. We just think you're a vile, nasty little woman who should really not be around children, because screaming in the face like that is quite damaging, you know. Yeah, I mean, that's it. So these masked Black Pampers and their pathetic allies were clearly hell-bent on trying to shut down this peaceful women's event, but it did fail. It did fail. The event was busy, the event had record turnout, and it failed. You know, these women, you know, carried on regardless. You know, they carried on regardless, and that's the thing. They're brave, courageous women. They're brilliant women that just carried on regardless. But these pathetic people shouldn't have been allowed to do this. And women really, you know, and men, women and men, both women and men, need to wake up and look at the creatures that are trying to destroy women's rights. Look at these creatures that are pushing for child safeguarding, are pushing to have gender theory against child safeguarding in schools. These are the people that are doing it. These are the people that are creating, you know, people who are confused about the gender, because they're pushing that in schools. You know, these are the people. So please, you know, whether you're a man or a woman, please do look at what's happening and please do speak out, because, you know, if they get their way, and they have, let's face it, you know, this gender theory is very much in Wales, it's very much in Ireland, it's very much in Scotland. You know, they're getting their way and they're creating confused gender people who the medical profession love, because of course, as I say, it's a multi-billion-pound industry. They want them. You know, they want to put them on puberty blockers. They want to put them on hormones because it's profitable. They want to cut them up and pretend that people can change sexes, which they can't, because it's a multi-billion-pound industry. So please do look at what's happening. Please do look at what these people are doing to women's rights. And, you know, I have a bit of an art as well. I know that gay, lesbian and bisexuals have always been treated like second-class citizens, but I have a heart because this trans lobby are out to get them too. You know, please do speak out. You know, it is. But thankfully, these unruly Black Panthers creatures didn't get the event shut down, and Posey Parker's event, as I say, attracted record attendees, and more than the so-called mob LGBT, more than the so-called trans mob, the LGBT alphabet soup. So the trans mob LGBT alphabet soup, okay, there weren't a big turnout for that. There were more women than them, which just does go to show again, the tide is turning. Women are winning. you know, and that's something that men, gay men, need to realize, that the women, the tide's turning for this women, but for gay men, all rights, for gay men, their rights are going backwards. They're the ones who have been pushed out of prides. They're the ones who have been told, well, you can't be same-sex attracted, you've got to be same-gender attracted, which in theory means that you should be able to date anybody. And we all know that gay men are same-sex attracted, and they only fancy men, and they only date men, and all this rubbish where females are saying that they're men and that it's okay for gay men to date them. It just doesn't happen at all. If a man is dating a biologically born woman who's claiming she's a man, then he's either heterosexual or bisexual. He's not gay. Okay. And we all know that. We all know that's true. And we all know that's nonsense being pushed. It is that simple. So I think that people should stop pretending, heterosexual men should stop pretending that they're gay in order to date a biologically born woman who now claims that she's a man, which is happening, because it's very homophobic. It's very offensive. Yeah. So let me have a look. So yeah, I mean, that they didn't get the event closed down, and Posey Parker continued. We did have up to 3 yobs that have been arrested. There may be more on the way. I know that we've got the girl who threw the glitter. That is, I understand that's an ongoing investigation. So there may be even more people arrested. This is record as well, because at these women's events, I don't think there's ever been any. I don't think there's ever been any arrests. I'm not sure, but I don't think there has. So these people that have been arrested up to yet have been arrested on assault, on suspicion of assault, obstruction, and sexual assault as well. There was an actual sexual assault in Brighton. So they were the 3 people in Brighton that have been arrested. So that's progress, because the police are looking after women more than what they did. Or is it just probably a one-off? Let us see. Yeah. So Charlie Turner, also known as Bliss Winters, is one of these people who was arrested, and this person has a criminal history, having a conviction for anti-Semitic graffiti. Now, I understand that was the one who sprayed graffiti where Kathleen Stock was on her way to university, and she saw it, and was quite horrified about what was being said. And I think that's one of the guys that actually did spray. In fact, it is one of the guys that was spraying, or one of the people, should I say, that was spraying graffiti of that. So this person is not a nice person. I mean, Charlie Turner was the one who threw, also known as Bliss Winters. He was the one who threw the smoke bomb, and he was the one who's put graffiti up, and the anti-Semitic graffiti. So these people are not nice people. They are jobs, thugs, and criminals. This is what we're dealing with on that side of the fence. So bear that in mind when you're supporting these trans rights that are pushing, you're supporting these trans rights activists. Okay, these are the sort of people that you're supporting, these criminals that have got offences, and just bear in mind who you're supporting. Right, so the police announced that they'd arrested 3 males. Then they said it was 2 males and 1 female. So, I mean, your guess is as good as mine what's going on there. I've lost track of what the police are peddling now. So let's just say it was 3 yobs. Let's just say 3 yobs have been arrested, and then I think we're safe. I think that's it. I really do hope that these events at the weekend, I hope these events that happened at the weekend get the people of Brighton, Leeds, and the United Kingdom, and the rest of the Western world, in fact, the world, to wake up to the scum that is destroying your rights. I know I've said it before, these are the people that are destroying your rights. These are the people that are pushing a gender theory into your schools. They're the ones who are campaigning and fighting to push gender theory in your schools, you know, so that they can confuse the children with gender. Why they want to do this, I don't know, because who are the people who are going to benefit out of that? So when a guy, you know, or girl goes on puberty blockers, you know, these are experimental drugs, and these drugs actually have proven now that they cause damage. You know, so why would you be pushing a drug that causes damage to our youngsters? Then you go on cross-sex hormones, okay, after puberty blockers, which are irreversible, and they do really cause damage. You know, why would you push these onto people? You know, and then you go, you know, then it goes on to the plastic surgery. Do you know what I mean? Which is then, you know, you're trying to change something that you can't really change. It's not really possible to do that. And a lot of these operations are going wrong. You know, there's evidence of that. I've been reading about people who've had this operation and having to wear bags, colostrophy bags, all sorts, because you just can't change 100%. You cannot really do this. You know, it's not something that you can do. It's not something that the surgeons can do perfect, you know, and a lot of mistakes have been made. So, you know, why would anybody want to push this on our kids? And but these are the people that are pushing it. But then when you look at these people, you know, they are criminals. You know, they are misfits in society. They are the incels. They are, or a lot of these people are already damaged. They're damaged individuals that want to damage your children. You know, that's why they're pushing it. You know, anybody with a brain would see that. Anyone with a brain would see, you know, what I can see what puberty blockers is doing to our kids. Even I can see what cross-sex hormones are doing, you know, to the younger generation. You know, and we've got in detransition after detransition are coming out, you know, saying that this, why were adults allowed to do this to me? Well, it's, you know, it's because of misfits and damaged people that are pushing it because they don't care. These people do not care about children. They don't care about trans kids because, as we all know, trans kids don't exist. Okay, it's just children that have been pushed to be confused about their gender. That's what this is all about. It's not about these people are doing anyone a favor. Of course they're not. They never have. They never have done a favor. That's why they're pushing people like me, and they're pushing lesbian and gay people out of their out of the own pride movement, because they know that people like me and lesbian and gay people and bisexual people and women are speaking up and saying, you know, this is not right. And that's why they're pushing us away. That's why they're trying to silence us, because they know we're right and they know they're in the wrong. And the only way they can carry on is with no debate. So I do hope that there are people out there do realize what is going on in the world of gender ideology. And please do, you know, speak up about what is happening, because, you know, if we've got a group of them people campaigning, okay, to put to ruin our NHS with silly neutral language, to put, you know, put it gender theory in schools, you know, they're listening to them because it seems as though there's more of them. I mean, the majority of people don't agree with what's going on, but you see, that's what these people do. So I personally, okay, will always stand with women fighting for their sex space and single sex spaces, so they sex-based rights and single sex spaces. I'll always stand by the LGBT community fighting for their rights. They've been really treated like second-class citizens throughout history. You know, they've also been ousted by the trans community, or it would have been the cross-dressing community, and because I mean, trans was obviously invented in the 80s. I think it was first coined in the 80s, actually. I don't think it was, I don't think it existed before then. So I don't know what we call these people, but they excluded gay people. In America, people have researched it and they've found that they excluded gay people in their movement, in their events. And that is right. And when, you know, when I was younger and I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, I didn't see trans people standing up and screaming for, you know, lesbian and gay and bisexual rights. I did see lesbians, I did see gay men, and I did see bisexual. I didn't see trans people. you know. So they shouldn't have stole our movement and then and try to change our history. Because if you look through history, it's all lesbians, gays, and bisexuals that rights. All the activists are lesbians, gays, and bisexuals. Very, very few, if any, are trans. And that's why they can't name them. And that's why they're blurring LGB history, because they know they can't name them, because they can't, because there weren't that many, if any, trans people around as they, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Rubbish. And that's it. So as always, yeah, I'll stand with the women who and support their sex-based rights and single-sex spaces. I'll support the LGB and their sex-based rights. I will stand with the United Kingdom's gem, J.K. Rowling. What a wonderful woman, a great woman speaking up for rights. She should get a lot of more respect than what people are giving her. So, just instead of trying to, instead of just automatically listening to people who are telling you to not support her, do your own research, and you'll find she's a wonderful woman. You'll find that what she's fighting for is simply women's rights, LGBT rights, sex-based rights, and that's it. She's not anti-trans. Lots of trans people contact her. She's had lots and lots of communications from trans people. She's not anti-trans. It's just that you're being made to believe that, because what she's saying, again, is right. What the trans lobby is saying is wrong, which is why they've got a closed down debate. That's why they don't want anyone to speak about it, because they're in the wrong, and that's it. As always, I stand with you, Posey Parker, Acker, Kelly J. Keane. What a wonderful woman, fighting for women's rights and sex-based rights and single-sex spaces and all the rest. Wonderful woman. And I stand with the lesbians, standing up for their rights in a country in the Western world that is putting biologically born males who impersonate lesbians first. It is, So I stand with lesbians, not biologically born males who impersonate lesbians. And that's what you're doing. You really, really offending their movement. You're really upsetting lesbians. You're really distressing lesbians. The best thing a biologically born male who thinks he's a lesbian can do is to stay away from lesbians. And I've seen that said so many times, so I'm going to say it now. Then there was a lesbian strength march, and I'm conscious I'm running out of time. But there was a lesbian strength march and rally in Leeds. That the event started off with the lesbian march being cancelled because the police wouldn't police it. So they cancelled it, which I don't think is very fair. I think it's, lesbians have got rights, but obviously not in Leeds for the march. But instead of the police moving the angry men, the incels, the yobs, they decided to cancel the lesbian march instead. So you've got a lot of angry men screaming at women, screaming at the lesbians, and they decided to take it out the lesbians. Not very fair, but that's the way it is. That's what happened in Leeds. So, but the rally did go ahead despite much disruption, and West Yorkshire Police did manage to keep the angry men separated whilst the lesbian strength event could go ahead. There were lots of speakers there, quite a few speakers. Well done to everybody who spoke. Well done to everybody that attended that event. You are brave, heroic, courageous people. You will go down in history. These angry men won't go down very well in history, but you will go down very, very well in history. There were quite a few angry men out there as well. They're angry simply because lesbians were speaking up for their rights, which I've witnessed in the 70s. I've witnessed this in the 80s. I've witnessed this in the 90s. And this is just recycled homophobia that's now being played out in 2022 from angry men who are angry about lesbians speaking up and speaking about their rights. And that was it. These angry men didn't like lesbians speaking up for themselves. That's what that was about. So if you are a lesbian, it's time you woke up to these incels, yobs, and misfits because they are disrupting your community. Nobody goes around screaming like that with masks in black. And why are they doing that? And they're doing it to disrupt lesbians and women's rights, and that's it. So if you're a lesbian, please see what these angry men, incels, and Misfits are doing to your rights, and fight back like the lesbians of yesteryear did, and fight back like the lesbians are fighting back. They're fighting back now, because these angry men are an attack on your freedom and your rights. Now, I'm going to say congratulations to Alison Bailey for appealing the decision of Stonewall. She said in a tweet that breaking, I have appealed the decision of the ET, the Employment Tribunal, dismissing my claim against Stonewall for causing a basic contravention of the Equality Act 2010. The appeal has been lodged at the EAT within the deadline. It will almost certainly be heard in the new year. The EAT will ask to order that my claim against Stonewall succeeds. Golden Court chambers have not appealed, which is good. So the Employment Tribunal's decision against them for discrimination and victimization and the award of damages and aggravated damages stands against Golden Court chambers. And the last tweet that she tweeted out, she said the Employment Tribunal's findings that gender critical beliefs include the belief that gender identity theory proselytized by Stonewall is severely detrimental to women and lesbians is unchallenged and also stands. So Stonewall is not off the hook, far from it, ends. That's exactly what the great Alison Bailey tweeted out. So thanks, Alison Bailey, for fighting. Thanks for all your courageous work in exposing Stonewall for the horrible organization they are. I think, I hope you win, and I think you will win, and I hope you win because this will also change the law, as we know, and Stonewall will then be exposed for exactly what they are. And once you've won, Alison, I mean, what will the trans lobby crowd, the gender theory crowd, do then? That will really be another blow for them, as a lot of things have been. I just wanted to mention, I think I've got time. I just wanted to mention PayPal cancelling the Free Speech Union, Gays Against Groomers, and others accounts are very worrying developments, which could affect any one of us. This is something that has come up. A few people on social media, quite a lot of people actually, have said that they're cancelling their PayPal account, and Venmo also stopped Gays Against Groomers. Very worrying developments. I think there's people complaining to the Financial Conduct Authority about PayPal. I'm looking into my future with PayPal because this is an attack on free speech. And I do know that PayPal have suspended quite a few accounts of people because they disagree with them. And that's what this is about. It's a very worrying time we're living in when PayPal has done this. So I'm going to consider my future with them as well. Now, the other thing that I wanted to say just before I go was I'd already got that open. So LinkedIn have pulled down another one of my posts. This post was speaking on behalf of a woman who was raped. And a trans activist has said that she should be spat on because she had a fear of men, and that she's forced to attend a support group, a rape crisis group with a biologically born male. LinkedIn has pulled that down. I really do worry about the freedom of speech on LinkedIn. I'm going to try and put that on my Substack. Incidentally, if anybody wants to subscribe to my Substack, you can find the link on my web. If you go onto my website, you go all the way down, there is a link of my Substack. But I find it very worrying what LinkedIn are doing. All I was doing, and it was an actual article that I was linking for the Daily Mail, and I just wanted to put some kind comments there. But LinkedIn has pulled that down. Very worrying developments. They do seem to be pulling a few of my posts down. So I presume at some point I will lose my LinkedIn account, which is very sad. It's Silicon Valley again that are trying to dictate what people are allowed to say. And unless you subscribe to a gender ideology, it is unfortunate, but they're not taking too kind to people who don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to gender theory, and I think that LinkedIn really need to. I've made an appeal. It's been denied by LinkedIn. So it's such a shame, you know. But if you do follow me on LinkedIn, or you're my friend on LinkedIn, I am on a lot of social media sites because I am always preparing, you know, always looking at the future, and I can see what's happening. I am on a lot of sites. So follow me on other sites, and we can, you know, hook up on other sites, just in case I do lose my account. But I'm very disappointed that LinkedIn have yet again pulled another post down, this time of a woman that was raped, that where a trans activist has said that she should be spat at. It's really disgusting. Well, that is all I've got time for this evening. Please do join me on Saturday. I'm sure I will have lots more to chat about. Thank you for everyone that's watched tonight. Thank you for everybody that watches this video afterwards, and this particular video will be cross platformed everywhere, so you'll find it on other ones. So thank you to everybody that's watched this on other platforms as well, and thank you, Amy, for joining me. I really do appreciate it when you join me. You know, great, thank you, and I will see you hopefully on Saturday. Thank you. Bye.